Welcome back, and today I'm going to be reviewing the brand new Jazwares FNAF Endo Series figures. These are actually the first two to come out. Shadow Freddy is going to be coming out on October 10th, and Chica and Foxy are going to be coming out even later, some point in December. Yeah, first I'm going to open Freddy here. First of all, these look really great. Yeah, I'm going to get to opening him here in a second. Before we dive in, make sure to hit like and subscribe. And if you hit the notification bell, you can get notified when the next review happens. All this stuff really helps out the channel, so I definitely appreciate it if you do. Okay, there that is. And there's only one circle tab to be able to open this from the top. Okay, so first of all, I do just want to say, again, the packaging for these looks absolutely amazing. The design here is just really good. Again, I'll get into that more later. Here is what they look like out of the box. Here's a closer look. The colors aren't coming through quite right. They're darker color there, like the darker brown on them is definitely less orange than it's showing on camera. Here's what they look like with the cover off and with some positioning corrected on them. You can definitely see that Withered Freddy does actually look slightly darker, and that's thanks to the dirty and withering that they did on him. Here is what the Endo looks like, right out of the packaging here. And I do gotta say, I definitely have my frustrations with this guy. It is a really good figure. It's definitely very posable, but once again, the paint job manages to have a few issues here. I don't know how well you can see it, but his eyelid's a little messed up there. Well, one of them's got white paint on it, and the other one, you can't re-angle these by the way, is at a weird angle. Hopefully that'll look fine once it's in the suit though. Overall, that's not a very big deal. You really can't tell. Here's how he looks, though. Very posable. I like it. His knees aren't nearly as stiff as the toys, which is very nice, like the Toymatronic ones. Yeah, I like this. Here's how the body kind of clicks into this thing. Not sure exactly how well you can see that, but yeah, his arm joint's a little bit messed up there. It's actually 2 in 1. Like, they're fused inside of each other. I've got the Withered Freddy suit on, so that's a little sneak peek at that. But yeah, his arm joints are inside of each other. There's 2 of them there on accident, and that limits movement a little bit. So here's how he looks. Again, you can't notice the joint thing that much, other than it brings forward the shoulder pad a little bit. So yeah, this one can't go down quite as far, and the shoulder pad's a little bit further up. Overall, not a huge deal, but definitely a little bit of a letdown / disappointment. And it does kind of show a little bit more of the quality control issues, so they definitely do need to be working on their quality control, I think. Overall, though, I do really like how this figure looks. I think you can definitely see the, like, Freddy in space-looking eyes. Like, the eye holes are so small, the eye printing on the Endo is larger than it should be, combined with the fact that his eyes are, like, pressed up against it. Just gives it a very strange, like, Freddy in space look. Also, he looks very cursed with his mouth closed. Looks much better with it open. Yeah. I do love how you can see the Endo inside. I could have sworn I thought this mouth could open further. Yeah, like, I've seen photos where it's, like, more open than that, but it doesn't seem to be able to do that. It seems to be the furthest it can go. Yeah, he's much easier to pose than the Toymatronics. None of the joints are super overly stiff or anything. He's a pretty good looking figure. He definitely looks a lot better in person than he does in camera, I am gonna say. Like, even in their official product photos, he looks a lot uglier than he does in person. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of how this figure looks. Again, he looks so much more orange on camera. I swear he doesn't look this orange in person. I do love this articulation here. It feels really good to use, and he's got a decent enough range there. Again, I'm still disappointed about the messed up arm joint. Again, I don't know how well that's showing on camera, but that is just completely messed up. It's got 2 of the joint intersecting each other right there. The other one works just fine, so yeah, but that definitely hurts the posability over here, and it means that when his arms sit, they don't sit the same as each other. One of them sits more forward, the broken one. Again, it's not that noticeable, but it is definitely a gripe. I also don't like how and it's also not going to be on everybody's, that's an error. Anyways, I also don't like how the feet are hollow on the bottom. Also, it was very hard to get these feet on. It's a very stiff thing. Same thing for the hands. But overall, once you've got it together, this figure looks really good. My biggest complaints are, first of all, I feel like he really needed the dirtying that, like, Withered Freddy has, for example. That's also not showing up that well on camera. the dirt on withered Freddy is much more noticeable than it is on camera. Well, I don't know if I'd say much. It's more noticeable than it is on camera, at least to a degree. And I really feel like that would have suited classic Freddy here. He's also dirty. They've got the classics are also like dirty. And the withereds, I feel like, could use more dirt than this. So like this amount of dirt for the classics, and then the withereds could use even a little bit more than this. I also don't like how the top of Freddy's nose goes all the way back. That looks strange. But overall, this is a good figure. Also, I feel like the inner ears should be painted. They are on withered Freddy. Let me just pull up his head here really quickly. Those are painted on him. So it's very weird that they aren't on classic Freddy. Overall, though, this is a really good figure. I really like it. I think it looks very accurate to the games, in its sculpt especially. I think the eyes are another huge issue. I feel like the eyes, the hole needs to be larger, like the hole here. And they are on Bonnie, so I feel like they really should be on Freddy, because it makes his eyes, again, look super, like, FNAF worldy. So I think larger eye rings would just be a huge improvement there. It's not a super hard thing to do, you just cut larger eye holes as a customization, I guess, but yeah. The drop-down hips work really nice, and again, he feels a lot less stiff than the toy animatronics did with their posability, so that's a bonus. I'm getting in some nice poses here. He's kind of hard to stand, so that is something. But like, I mean, it is a good looking figure. Time for Bonnie, who actually has a red paint smear, it would appear, which I actually noticed this earlier, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. Just like Freddy, he's got this tab at the top. So here's how Bonnie's looking out of his thing. Here's Bonnie's endo, which unlike Freddy's endo, did not come with a messed up shoulder. That's nice. On top of that, his eyelids are also gray for some reason, which I feel like looks a little bit worse, but what does look better is that his endo jaw is gray, which matches the rest of the thing. Seems like now's a good time to go a little bit more into detail about the articulation. He's got this really nice, like, thing here, for his waist. Again, the drop-down hips work really well. He's got rotations up here. He's got the knees, obviously, which, yeah, those a little bit clicky. He's got his feet down here. Yeah, I keep saying, he's got his elbows. He's got his shoulders, which can move, really well. He's got his hands here, which is a very stiff joint, unfortunately, on both of these. So that's going to take a second to kind of wear in, I guess. Yeah, this one's very stiff. His head can rotate. It cannot go up and down, which I think is a little bit sad, but yeah. And then, of course, you can remove the eyes. Time to see if I got the defect. Some of these, oh, I got lucky, okay. Some of these do not have the red dots on the inside. This one does. So the red dots serve their purpose well enough, I guess. Though they are kind of ugly. It's just kind of these, like, red splotches in the general vicinity of the circles in there. Starting getting Bonnie assembled now. Yeah, that looked kind of funny in the in-between stage. Here's a closer look at the red splotches on his stomach, which we're just going to pretend is blood, because otherwise, that's just a very ugly paint mistake. He looks very strange without his arms. So, here's how Bonnie looks. Very similar to Freddy in the body, obviously. I think this one looks really good. I think this one definitely looks better than Freddy. The jaw, like, feels like it moves more, kinda. But the eye holes, I think, just do it a lot to make this one just generally more accurate. I really like the colors they chose for this guy. They look really good. I wish the ears could pose, because the splits down the center of them, they can't. Again, articulation's the same. I wish the elbows moved further. He's got kind of baby hands here. Overall, though, he looks really, really good. Again, I really like this little bit of waist articulation he has. I feel like he could do a pretty good job of holding a guitar, which I will probably 3D print him. I was originally planning on doing, like, 3D printed endos for the other suits so I could display all the characters at the same time, but I don't think I can do that because the way, like, the hands and feet fit together and stuff, it just doesn't seem very doable, so I'm just gonna wait until they do single release endos. But, like, yeah, and I could totally see this working for, like, a Foxy, with, like, the bending and stuff, or, like, withered Chica, like, the way it, like, leans over when T-posing. yeah, I think this definitely, like, adds a lot of possibilities here. I really like how you can see the endo through the side pieces here. That's really nice. Overall, this thing just looks really good. All the way around, it just looks really clean and really good. Clean in terms of, like, the sculpt. Unfortunately, clean in terms of the paint job. You should not be clean in terms of the paint job. Yeah, I feel like the paint job should be more dirtied up. Again, the classic animatronics are dirtied. Though it's less noticeable on Bonnie than it is on Freddy, because Bonnie's just like a darker shade. His purple's darker than Freddy's brown. Though again, Freddy's not as radioactive orange as he appears on camera. But yeah, here's how they look together. I'm gonna kind of get Freddy back into a standing pose for this. Just like a normal arms as far down as I can get them with his weird messed up arm there. Just get them both standing back here. Hold on. So that's how the two look together. They look pretty good. Like, yeah. I would overall say Bonnie does look better here, though. Time to take them apart and put them back together and make Withered Freddy. I feel like a collector line would be really great for these. Like, this is a collector line. It says collector figure on the box. But, like, I feel like something between the range of, like, $14 to $18 single pack figures that aren't Endo Series, but have, like, the same posability as Endo Series, but have the scale of the World of FNAF figures. But, like, again, they replace the jump scare action with, like, the better articulation of these. And since it's only one figure for that price, they can have, like, the nicer paint job and dirtying, kind of like Withereds do here. I feel like that would be really great. I really hope we get something like that. I didn't realize earlier how much it can lean without the suit. That's crazy, especially since Foxy's thinner. Yeah, I think that's gonna work really well. Like, seriously, the guy can almost hit the Sonic Adventure 1 pose. So here's how Withered Freddy looks, and I do have to say, he is far and away the best one in this set. He just looks absolutely incredible. Again, the lighting is not doing this thing justice. The dirtying is more noticeable in person than it is on camera here. It's kind of blurry on camera. Even when I put him in focus, man, does this thing just look so amazing here. This one is absolutely the most worth it one in this set, I would say. He just looks so good. This figure just looks amazing, and the posability is much better than the others. They actually, like, made these slants here so that his legs can go further back. I really wish the classics had that. But man, does this look good. And the withering, the holes just really show off, like, the Endo Series idea better than any of the other characters so far. They really, like, show off the advantages of this. It gives it such, like, a layered 3D depth to it. It just looks so good. Especially down on, like, the leg, this just looks amazing. And, because he's got a slightly shorter body, he can swivel his waist even more here. And, like, he can move at the hips better. This figure just looks really good, though. I do gotta say, this is probably my favorite from this entire set. It definitely is. It just looks so good. Even though mine has, like, a slightly poor paint job on the nose. Let me try and refocus this. Like, yeah, the nose bleeds onto the muzzle quite a bit on mine. I still just absolutely love this figure. And again, the dirtying looks so good on it. I really wish the classics had the dirtying. But man, does this figure just look absolutely amazing. It is just such a nice, like, well done, high quality figure. This is definitely the reason to get the Endo Series. And even though mine has, like, the messed up shoulder on the Endo, it's still just, yeah, this is a great figure. Again, the articulation is the best on him so far. So, yeah, and also, something worth noting here. You can hear the pieces shake, and you can feel them shake too. Not much shake, but there's definitely some shake to it. Yeah, these are really great. I really like these. Actually, I'm gonna try and put them up in like a, there we go. And let's see how it looks next to Bonnie. So, give me a second here. Well, hold on. Okay. Here's how it looks next to Classic Bonnie, my two favorites in the set, Withered Freddy, Classic Bonnie. These are probably the ways I'm going to display them, Classic Bonnie and Withered Freddy. But, yeah, For comparison, here's a Funko Golden Freddy. As you can see, he also has around the same amount of posability here, except his head can actually turn, like, up and down and stuff. And on top of that, his arms can actually turn further. So it's like yeah, if you look at the elbows, it moves quite a bit further. But his limbs can fall off very easily, unfortunately. As you can see, the wobbliness, like where all the pieces fall off immediately, has been mostly corrected as of the re-releases, though it's still a little bit of an issue. But look at how much the arm can bend. I really like this figure. It looks really good. It definitely has its issues, though. First of all, he has the same issue as Classic Bonnie, where the ears just stick straight up instead of having any bend to them, which is weird. I would have preferred if they moved them slightly back past this cracked thing, or made them part of the back thing but stick out forwards and have holes in the front thing so that they can be at the correct spot. Either way, make them not split down the middle so that they can bend. I think that would really make this look a lot nicer. The other much bigger issue here is obviously the Endo. The head just looks so weird with the Endo 01 in it. Like, that just looks strange. Because he's not supposed to be Endo 01, obviously, it's Endo 02. But, I mean, yeah, it's Endo 01 because this thing comes with one Endo and it's Endo 01. I really wish these packs came with Endo 02. We are getting an Endo 02 single card release at some point next year. But, I really do wish these came with Endo 02 because it would make sense, because the classic animatronics, apart from Foxy, don't reveal the Endo underneath. But the Withereds do. So wouldn't it make sense to use the Endo that, you know, the Endo that matches for the characters that show the Endo underneath? And, I mean, it kind of looks like Endo 02 there with the rings because of where the rotation joint is on the leg, which is kind of nice, but that's the only bit that kind of looks like it, and the face is the main one that really doesn't. The hand is like a weird hybrid. The foot is Endo 02, so again, there are some weird things here. Like, they've tried to make some compromises for it. But yeah, it's Endo 01 with an Endo 02 foot, and then he's got an Endo 01 hand, but with like the triangle things on the end of every finger that the Endo 02 hand has. But overall, ignoring the weird Endo inconsistencies, this figure looks really good. There are still a few other issues with it, like this cord arm thing does look a bit strange, probably longer than it should be. Also, the cords on the side aren't detailed. Like, it's on the front you can see a bunch of separate cords, but on the back it's like one really thick blob of cord. It's kind of strange. The withering on Withered Bonnie looks really good. Like, not only the holes, but also just the dirtying in general. It's pretty noticeable in person, and in a really good way. It just gives them that extra dirt I really wish the classics had. So, I'm definitely a fan of that. I'm not the biggest fan of this thing right here. I'm not sure what you call that. There's just like this, like, fake hole. It's painted, which is really weird because the other ones aren't painted. And I thought, oh, because there's a peg in the way, but there's not. If you look at this one, the peg is up here. If you look at this one, it should be up here. So the peg isn't in the way of the hole. I have no idea why the hole was like that. Like, why you would do that. And there's also one on the back of this leg, which there might be a peg behind. I'm not entirely sure. But either way, that one's not that noticeable because it's on the back. That is just so strange up here, though. Like, why would they do that? Another kind of issue with the withering here, and again, it's not that noticeable, but he's got the dirt. Sorry, not the dirty. He's got the holes in the back of his arm, but he doesn't have the hole he's supposed to have in the front of his arm. Like, it's just not there. And to know the arm isn't on backwards, this can only go in one way because it ramps down like this, but it's got the shoulder pad right here. So yes, that is correct. And also, if you look at the photos, it also has it on like this. There's no other way to put that on. And also because of the way the pegs are different on each side. So yes, his arm does have to go on like this. So it's really weird that they would do the back arm withering, but not the front of the arm withering. And then even, it's not a huge deal. It's just something worth noting. I do think this figure overall looks really good, though. Again, the withered arm here looks a little strange. Like the missing arm, pretty much. He's got a pretty good amount of waist articulation here, like the others. Like the withered, he's kind of an in-between between the withered Freddy and the classics. It's pretty good. He's got a pretty good range there. The drop-down hips work like you'd expect them to. I do kind of find it a little bit harder to make him stand than the others, just a little bit. I have to slightly angle down the Endo 02 foot more than the other one for some reason. to make him stand there. But overall, I think this looks really good. He almost reminds me of how he looks in the Trick or Treat in Help Wanted, the Trick or Treat game mode thing. Because this arm out to, like, grab something, it's very similar to how he looks there. And this is kind of the best pose I can get him to go in, because the arm doesn't go all the way down. You can also make him lean towards the side with the arm, like he does a lot in the games. Overall, though, I think this is a really good figure, but it's held back a lot by the Endo at one head. That's just very strange. Like, he's just not supposed to have that. Also, the eyes being, like, just these, like, paint blotches behind these holes looks very strange as well. And the lack of the cords coming down from here is also pretty strange. So overall, I think the face just looks really weird there. But this is a really nice figure. I think it's really well done. And something I'm just now noticing, you might have noticed this ring at the bottom of his foot there, like the FNAF 1 animatronics have. That's pretty weird. He's not supposed to have that. I don't know why that's there. Hold on. Yeah, no, Withered Freddy doesn't have that. That is really weird. Why would they do that? Why would they give him a FNAF 1 foot? And it's like, that's just strange. Yeah, I have no clue why that is. I think I am going to display Withered Bonnie and Withered Freddy, even though I prefer the classic Bonnie to the Withered Bonnie figure, just because it looks a little bit nicer, because the endo on this one's weird. But I think I am going to display Withered Bonnie alongside Classic Freddy, just so that they match. These are really good figures, though. I definitely recommend getting these. I would say it's probably worth holding off on getting, like, 2 sets of each, so that you can display the classics and the withereds. So you can just wait for the single release endos we know are coming. Because, well, obviously that's going to be a lot more affordable. And for $25 per figure, since the $25 isn't going into just the one figure, they're spreading that money across, giving you, like, multiple suits and the endo and stuff. I feel like since you're paying that price for that and not that price for a higher quality single figure, you should use that. Yeah. Like, it just makes more sense that way. And here's how they actually look on the shelf alongside the others. As you can see, they scale with the toy animatronics, kind of, but also not really. So the toy animatronics scale with the Funkos, but these guys are just a little bit bigger than them. But, I mean, it scales well enough, because I can see the withereds being reasonably larger than the toy animatronics. Also, quick side note, I can't believe we live in a world where the Withered Freddy and Classic Freddy ones from a toy company are more orange than the Toy Freddy ones from the same wave. That's just a little strange. Anyways, they really do look nice on the shelf. Yeah, I'd recommend getting these, I would say. I think they'll definitely be improved when the endo individual things come out, so you can display all 4. But overall, I definitely recommend getting these. I'm probably going to customize my Freddy suit, so I'll do a video on that soon, probably. But yeah, I definitely recommend getting these. I think they look really good.